All right, good morning. Hi. I'm coming in live from Boulder, Colorado today. Yeah, got some wild, crazy hair. As we look at this practice today, we're going to need some props. It's going to be mostly restorative. So you can see I have a couple blankets, one folded to sit on, one rolled for later, and then a bolsterish shape. So if you have a prop, um, if you have a yoga specific bolster, grab that. If you don't, grab another blanket or some pillows from the couch that will be long, like this one here. Maybe some blocks also. Just grab a bunch of stuff so that we can utilize comfort through the props to allow our body rest. We are coming in to this practice with the idea of connecting to the earth, ourself, and the relationship we have with our thoughts to progress forward on our path of healing, right? That's really the general idea of yoga for me. Anyway, right? So grab up your props if you don't have them, and then let's start sitting comfortably. So find your way onto enough of a prop where your legs are heavy and disengaged at the hip flexor. So notice if your hip flexors are engaged. If they are, grab a bigger prop and come settle in with me. Any little movements, sometimes twists feel really good, shoulder circles, just accessing information from the body on where you're holding, gripping, to then soften and root down. Again, we have a double Virgo sky in the new moon of Virgo. Sun and moon are in Virgo. New moons are a time of self reflection, of quieting down the chaos and the stress that's always circling around us to reflect and refine. So, this earth sign is ruled by Mercury. Mercury is the planet of communication. So, how do we speak to ourselves? What are the conversations, the narratives, and potential limitations that are often reflected in our mental processes? And then how do we take that into the world? How do we communicate to others and also to source? Right? We all can understand that everything is energy and what we put out comes back. So, are you consistently worried and only ruminating over what has already happened and stressed about that coming back around again, or projecting fear of what's to come and not knowing what that is? And then all we do is then get stuck in these cyclical patterns of behavior, these subconscious conditioned patterns. New moons are a time of seeking that within ourselves in order to consciously break them and meet the incidences and experiences in a day that um, can show us the pattern, and then we can consciously choose to behave differently and break it. So, as we come into some restorative poses, I'll guide you through some contemplations and ask some um, internal conversational questions so that you can get a little clearer on these things for yourself in order to make great changes and set intentions for using Virgo's energy to progress us forward. So come to your breath, refine your seat if need be. So again, pubic bone rolls forward, hip flexors are soft, legs are heavy. Maybe our knees need some props. If you have this rolled up blanket right here, you can bring it right underneath the lower leg. Feels super nurturing. Think about nourishing, nurturing, soft ways in which we can explore our body sensations, actions. Maybe those internal muscles are deep and just gripping because of our subconscious stress patterns. So really slowing down, tuning in, and refining. This is very good Virgo energy. So comfort in your seat, hands relaxed, palm down to help our energy ground. Shoulders pulled away from the heart center, but not in a rigid way, a very easeful way, even pulling the throat back, dropping the chin in a little bit, thinking of the soft rise of the crown as you settle deep into your seat. And then just feel your natural breath rhythm as we dive into the subconscious thoughts that are present. Feel the widening of your rib cage to receive a deeper breath. So, again, it's easeful, not forced. And we'll look to be the observer in practice today. So, let the body offer you information of what you feel, sensation, tension, freedom, maybe even some discomfort or pain. See if you can direct the breath there, life force, to an area of contention. It's a very nurturing way to soften and accept. Letting the observer help us refine and even shift away. Sometimes blocked energy from one area to another creates discourse, or it doesn't allow communication to open and travel. So softening the gaze inward can help you see internally any of these spots and then create a visual of representation of connecting or opening, flowing, communicating. Just take a few moments with this visualization of clearing stuck pathways, broken connection, to really refine flow of energy through your body. If you know the energy centers along the spine, you can see them light up and connect. If you know the meridians of the body, they run in pairs, 6 pairs. But you don't need to know what these things are in order to affect them. So just open to the ground beneath you, the universe all around you, and the breath flowing through you, more than just the lungs. Let it open through many channels. There's no wrong or right here. Just feel your way into it and be the observer. If something comes through a vision or a feeling or sensation, meet it with light or love or compassion or just breath and awareness. And we'll just stay with this visual breath work for a few moments to set the tone and to, again, receive information from the observer. Notice where you're holding tension and gripping, and let the breath soften that. Taking the hands over the heart space here. I like palm over palm, but you might prefer pressed together in prayer. And we're just going to set an intention before we begin, and then at the end, we'll also revisit this and see if we want to change it in any way, refining it as we tap into this Virgo energy of observing and refining. So, connecting to your heart, just notice how this shape feels, what was uncovered in the last few moments. Thinking about where you are in your life, what stress you're carrying, what challenges you're facing currently, but also where you want to go. What do you desire? What are you what are your ambitions? What are you working towards as an intention of where you're choosing to go? And maybe even becoming aware of things that are limiting you. Are they external or internal? Are they constructs of the mind or known physical, tangible things in life? And then maybe there's one pairing or multiple pairings of opposition. Um, so as we go through the rest of practice in these different shapes, we can sit in our breath and keep a visual observation and self reflection to our inhalation and exhalation. So on our inhale, we're pulling in a resource or a full intention or an emotion or one word that reflects what we want to embody and feel and pull in. And then as we exhale, maybe it's the opposite of that or something in your way of that. So the negative aspect of it to release. That it can be a limitation, it can be a block, it can be a understood piece of us that we want to release. Maybe it's a bad habit, maybe it's a fear or a worry, right? So that we can take one pairing or several pairings of an internal drawing in what we want to receive or be, and an exhale release of something in the way, blocking that. So give a moment, connecting to your heart, finding those words, phrases for yourself, just getting more clear, refining what that is for you. And it can be several, or it can just be one. It can be specific, or it can be general. Get clear on that. Right, and let an exhale release the hands and float the eyes open if they're closed. So reverse the cross of your feet. We're going to do a little bit of movement. I'm going to keep this little shin knee support. We're going to take the right hand down and the left arm up and over to the right and just bend into the bottom arm as much as feels good for the side body stretch. There can be movement or stillness. I like to roll the wrist and flick the fingers as energy starts to open and release. Those little cracks can be the built up restriction that gets free. You can twist a little bit up to the sky and down to the floor, back and forth, or just stay. Maybe after a few breaths here, you can deepen into the bottom elbow. Head can move around. Think of breathing into your left lungs, the left ribs as the left arm stretches to the right. And then soften the effort. Refine any way that your inner guide is telling you to for your own personal experience. Hug into your belly, gently switch sides, come on up. Left hand slides away as you bend in and stretch through the right. Take your time with it. Notice our sides are not symmetrical and feel the same. And maybe they do for you. Generally, life takes us off balance. And so one side might need different things than the other. Give yourself time to explore what that is, and then honor it for yourself. Any little movements, refinements for your personal benefit here. Breathing now through the right ribs, expanding the breath into the right side as you stretch over to the left. And let an inhale bring you straight up to center. Let both hands tent outside the hips, connecting to the ground, and just take 3 breaths here. Sitting tall with nominal effort, thinking of neutral spinal curves, depth through the legs, light through the crown. And with your fingertips outside the hips, arm bones to the sides of the ribs, core engaged. From your heart, just let energy flow out to each shoulder, down the arms into the fingertips through the ground. Is there any armor around your heart that isn't needed today that can just soften out through the connection of your fingertips to the earth? Give it to Mother. And let this help you feel a little lighter and more free. Maybe you can envision light from your crown into your heart, out through each shoulder, arm, fingertip into the ground. Just a flood of white light. Noticing how it feels for you to engage in such an exercise. Observe if the critic shows up, the judge. And just see if you can see it and be free to enjoy it. Or do you have some sort of restriction or resistance? And then you can go into a little conversation with yourself about that if you'd like. And then exhale, drop your chin into your chest. Bring your hands to your knees and just stretch the back as you scoop your tail under and round in. Feel the front of the body collapsing as the back body stretches open. Start to tilt the pubic bone forward in front of the prop you're sitting on. Feel the spine upright. Start to bend your elbows, pull your heart center forward over your hips, and then start to open the throat, looking up. And now stretching the front of your body open as the back of the body collapses or engages more deeply in extension. Sit upright and soften. We'll come into a nice hamstring stretch here. We're going to go right leg straight forward, left foot to the right thigh, and the left knee opening as wide and back as feels good. I'm still on my prop. You might adjust your prop so that each sit bone feels very much equally supported. Sit nice and tall, hands framing up the front leg. And then we're going to take the left hand to the right leg and give a little pull. Your right hand might work back a bit to push, helping you sit tall. Flex your right ankle and start to hinge at the hip crease coming forward over the leg until you feel the first little pull of a hamstring stretch. And then you might soften the ankle and relax the muscles of the legs, keeping the hands as they are. Maybe right hand comes forward. And then embracing yourself here in the hinge, we're going to stay 3 minutes here. So your arms can press straight, you can melt your heart, even relax your head, making this a more yin stretch. Feeling very mild sensation so that the body softens through the joints and the ligaments, but doesn't overstretch. That the sensation stays more in the muscle belly. So notice when you soften, if you feel pulling in the joint too much, come up. Sit a little bit taller out of the fold. This is my injured ankle, and letting the ankle relax doesn't feel great, so I'm going to just keep a little bit of action there, supporting the release. So tune in to how you're feeling, what sensation shows up, adjust according. Do I need more action or less? Use your breath. And then think about the root of your right leg, your roots in this life that you've created through masculine energy. Have you asserted yourself enough to feel like you've created a strong foundation? Do you have a good connection with the earth and feel grounded through, an assertion of your boundaries? Are they firm? Do you maintain them? And then as we stay quiet for one more minute here, think about what imperfections you can embrace with acceptance, love, and compassion. Remembering that we aren't perfect and we shouldn't strive for perfection, that the ways that we are uniquely ourselves are exactly what make us perfect. Staying in that mild and moderate place of sensation. Hug into your belly, rise up slowly. We'll take the left leg forward, take your prop with you. Right foot comes in, right knee goes out as wide as feels comfortable. Start with, again, adjusting your prop, both sit bones supported. Flex your left foot, twist your hands to the left leg, sit tall, and then right hand can come to the left leg and pull you in. Left hand can go wider to push the floor away, sitting you taller. Hinge at the hip crease and come forward. Again, staying in hands can come forward too, what feels really supportive. And then let your arms just embrace the spine's length. Melt onto your arm bones. Potentially relax your left foot or your whole body as you hinge and fold over the left leg. Finding that place of balanced effort and ease, and also mild sensation. Don't go to where you think you would be in a regular, more yawn practice of yoga, where you're meeting that physical edge. We want to back out. Make sure your joints feel good, and then breathe. We're here 3 minutes. And now we're on the left side of our leg foundation, right? So this is more of how are we rooted and supported in the feminine? Do you know the sensations where your intuition talks to you in that all-knowing expression, right? It's full body chills or seeing an image, hearing a voice, all the ways in which the feminine energy can guide us and support us. Really use your breath. Being present to what the body offers you. Maybe one more minute. What imperfections can we embrace with acceptance, love, and compassion? 3 more breaths. Maybe the eyes can softly close and the head relax towards your knee as you find more space and breath. And then hug into your belly. Inhale, slowly rise up. We're going to go right into a straddle here. So both legs moving outward from center. Prop up on the blanket so the pelvis can still tilt forward. You're not scooped under. Does not have to be a very wide V. Find a good distance of your feet. See if they're on the same trajectory from the hips. And if your hips are off, see if you can refine that. And remembering again, this Virgo energy is really about micromanaging everything. Really fine, detailed. I don't even know what the finishing of that sentence is, but really getting fine-tuned here. And again, see if we can soften the ankles. My right ankle is still healing and it doesn't feel good without support. So I'm just going to give a little roll-up blanket there. Feel like the legs can soften as the pelvis remains neutral, and then hands embrace you anywhere, like in front, straight arms, in back, straight arms, helping to sit tall. We can take our bolster forward and let the forehead just come, supporting that spinal extension in the hinge with ease. Okay, we're going to stay here 3 solid minutes. Feel that the widening of your feet can help us expand into our intention, expand beyond mental constructs of limitation, expand beyond our patterns. So here, as I give you some quiet contemplation, think about the lessons you've learned and the cyclical patterns that you're already aware of. Right? Our lessons in life typically come after repeating something. Maybe it was a mistake, whatever label you want to give it. Bring light and love to it as we consciously contemplate daily ritual, habits, routines, and what needs to be refined in that for reaching our intention. Get some core engagement, hands to the mat to slowly come on up. Take any prop out of your way. And then we're going to come now into some more restorative shapes. So give the knees, or lean back actually, and just let the pelvis scoop under and the feet come closer together. And then shake out the legs a little bit. All right, we're going to take our bolster or just a bigger prop of folded blankets to make it pretty big and come into pigeon. So we're gonna have tabletop over the bolster. See if I can show you this here. And then we're gonna step the right leg in front, foot to the left, any degree, any angle. You can always tuck your foot under the bolster so that the shin isn't too far forward, the foot in line with the knee. Can you see here? Here's my ankle, here's my knee. The foot can come closer to the left hip or away, but let the right hip now be supported on the bolster. You can take an inward spiral of the front thigh. You can tuck left toes under and extend the heel back so that the front of the left hip here is really open and square and even supported by the bolster. And the toes can stay tucked under or flatten the top of the foot to the mat. And then maybe it feels good to flow a little bit, folding, letting the spine come up and down like a little wave. Deciding where you're best supported for mild to moderate pull in the back of the right hip and the front of the left hip. And of course, you can feel these things different places, but trying to find a moderate stretch for the right outer hip and rotators in pigeon here. You come down to elbows. You can support your head or let the head just drop. Tap into where you want to be, and we're going to stay here 3 minutes. Letting the body soften. Yin and restorative is more about passive opening and staying super present in the body's sensation as a means of self-correcting and adjusting. I mean, this is a beautiful parallel to how we can move through our day by feeling what the body offers us, noticing what triggers us, and then acting with acceptance from that, as opposed to maybe being more reactive, refining ourself here. Purity of body and mind. What teachers, mentors, and guides show up in your life to help you expand? All right, give some core engagement. Walk your hands in. See if you can slide the back knee closer. Give some weight to your hands in the back leg to then bring that right leg around. My right hand came inside of it, maybe heel toe. Just slowly find tabletop and just take a moment. Root through your hands and shins, hug your belly. Just notice how you feel if you split your body in half right to left through the spine. Reflect. Yoga is a practice of action and reflection. All right, let's take that left leg forward. Foot to the right. Any angle of the shin from the knee to ankle here. Propped up. Feel a good spot for the bolster to support your left hip and your right hip flexor. I'm going to tuck my right toes under, extend the heel back to feel the right hip flexor come into the bolster. Of course, my lighting is terrible. I can't really tell, and I'm in all black. But feel your way into how far wide your knee is, the angle of your shin to the ankle, the support of your prop, and then Maybe some movement first as we explore the different relationship the spine has to the hip and the floor through gravity and our own action to feel what we need to feel. Mild to moderate. Yin and restorative is about doing less to um, get into the subtle aspects of our energy and the flow and prana throughout our body. All right, finding that good place to settle in. What teachers, mentors, and guides show up in our life to help us expand? Let the breath help soften and melt you into this shape. Mild sensation through the left hip, outer hip, right hip. Anywhere else you're feeling sensation, let it be mild. Can we do less in order to gain more? Three more breaths. Meet that sensation you're feeling and soften it out. What was that inhalation, exhalation pairing? You almost forgot to bring that back in. So feel on the height of your inhale, what are we pulling in, seeking and intending? And what can we release that's in our way or blocking us from that experience? Hug into your belly, come up onto your hands, sit a bit taller, crawl the back knee in, and just see how you can best get the left foot out of the way, revisiting our tabletop. Plant the palms under the shoulders, feel the shins and tops of the feet press down, and split your body right to left through the spine and just notice. See any reflection of how these sides feel in comparison to each other without the judge or the critic, only the observer. So the observer has acceptance and love and compassion. Like the judge or critic only has that dark, negative energy to it. So use descriptive words that help you feel the gray area as opposed to the polar good and bad, black and white. Come to the gray. Come to acceptance. Find the light, the love of all of our parts, all of our sensations as they are means to refinement. All right, shifting gears more into restorative postures. I'm going to show you side view here with all of my props close by in bridge pose. So come onto your back. Have your bolster shape close by with feet on the mat, hip width apart, close to the hips. Take some pelvic tilts. Arch the back, flatten the back. Arch the back, Flatten the back. One more time. Arch and flatten. Find a gentle arch, which is neutral. Push into your feet, hug your belly, lift the hips, and slide the bolster underneath the sacrum, the pelvis, not the spine. And just let the arms roll palm open. It's a very subtle, soft lift. We might have the capacity to really expand the back bend and be very open, but I offer you this invitation to soften in a subtler, softer, lower bridge. And then open palms anywhere. You can slide the shoulder blades in and down the back. Chin toward the throat to lengthen the neck and just settle in here. It might not feel like you're doing much, but there is power in the subtleties of life. And there's more release when we soften and find the ease. Feel your feet root you down. See your feet connecting to the earth with the tops of the shoulders and the back of the head, and even the backs of the arms and palms. And feel like there's more weight released in this shape, breath by breath. When we reflect back on our life, can we see patterns of limitation, of inaction, out of fear, or limiting beliefs about our capabilities, the things that we deserve? Can we see where we're stuck in the rut, letting the back body connect to the earth, helping us look back to see, and then feel support and engage with refining what does need to shift and change. Where can we refine our daily habits, refine our diet? Are we hydrated? Do you drink enough water? These are all Virgo qualities of caring for ourselves, our body, our journaling. How do we become aware of our mental processes and support the observer, not the critic or judge? Keep softening. Come back to that pairing of words or phrases of pulling in what we want to become and releasing out things that are in our way. And as you stay with that pairing on your inhale and exhale, is there a visual representation of that same, um, directional movement? Right? See the inhale pulling something inward, light, space, whatever it is. And then the same for the exhale. Where is it releasing? Where is it going? There's no wrong or right. Choose what works for you. 3 more breaths. Before we move from the shape, just reflect. How did that go for you? Is it hard? Did you do it, or did you get up and do something else? Did you distract yourself? Did you grab your phone? Were you able to be in that energetic exercise or not? And then, whatever your answer is, let go of the critic. Find compassion and self-love. We're just doing the best that we can. And these subtle things are not easy to do. Okay. Step into your feet, hug your belly, lift your hips, come off the prop, all the way down to the floor, and just take one knee in, stretch the opposite leg straight, give your knee a circle, switch sides, bring that foot to the floor, the opposite knee in, straighten the opposite leg now, and give the knee a squeeze and a circle. We're going to step the left foot on the floor, scooch the hips to the right, bring your bolster now to the right, and bring your left knee and shin and ankle to the bolster. Right hand can hold the left knee in place. Left arm's going to extend outward anywhere, close to the hip, in line with the shoulder, maybe above the shoulder. See if you can adjust your shoulders to be more square on the mat as your gaze shifts left. Just take this supine twist, breathing into the release again. Inhaling, pulling in, exhaling, releasing out. What are we trying to manifest and pull into our life? What can we release that might be in our way? See if you can soften the glutes, relax your jaw, breathe a bit more fully. Just a few more moments here. Feel the twist, the nurturing sensation around your spine, and the release around the heart. And slowly hug into your belly and feel your left foot come back to the floor, your right foot come to meet it, hips to center. Hands on the torso, palm down, and just again receive and reflect for a moment. Take your bolster to the opposite side, left the hip towards your foot. Left leg goes straight. Step into your right foot, scoot your hips to the right. Left knee, shin, and ankle to the bolster. Left hand holds the knee in place. You might switch refine your shape a little bit by adjusting where your left hip is, and maybe your shoulders need some help. Send your gaze to the right arm anywhere out, open palm. And breathe deeply into this twist. The twist helps the back bend soften, refining our center line and the relationship of sacrum or pelvis to shoulders and the curvatures of the cervical spine, the lordotic spine, the neck, and the lower back to the thoracic, the rib cage. Inhaling what we want to become and the things we want to manifest in our life. Exhaling the opposite, the blocks, the limitations, the things in our way. Internal or external, or both. Gently hug into your belly. Right foot comes to the floor. Left foot meets it, hips to center, palms down anywhere. Receive and breathe. Bring the knees in, give yourself a little massage, side to side or moving around in any way. And then we're coming into our last shape of supported Shavasana. Grab your knees, backs of the legs, come up to sit. I skipped one of our poses, but that's okay. We're going to take a little bit of a folded blanket for under the head and the bolster or a rolled up blanket or 2 blankets for under the knees. I like the bolster a little bit more under the thighs as opposed to under the knees. Extending the legs, let the toes roll outward. Grab that prop for under your head, chin tucked in. Lift the shoulders to get the shoulder blades flat under the heart. Think open palm to receive gifts of the practice and of source and spirit as we rest in this final shape. Softening each exhale, being held by the earth below. Are you resisting that nurturing, tender hug from Mother? Can you soften and let yourself be held deeply in the wisdom of earth, the wisdom of our ancestors, the wisdom of Earth's history? The support we can always find there. You're never alone. Think of that regenerative quality the earth has. You have it too. Assimilate your life experiences so far to see limiting beliefs, patterns of behavior that keep you small or stuck. And let Virgo's refining, organized way of looking to progress, not to seek perfection, but to observe in order to work through with compassion, acceptance, and love to the next step, and then the next step, and then the next. Only seeking progress, not perfection. One more contemplative question. How can you refine daily routines, schedules, and habits to support manifesting your intentions? If you'd like to stay in your resting Shavasana shape, please do. If you're ready to move and get back to your day, we'll start to move fingers and toes and deepen into the breath. Make a fist and roll the wrist. If you feel some or hear some cracking, flick out the fingers. It's energy moving. Bring the feet to your bolster, starting to give the lower back some space and length. Hugging the knees in when you're ready. And again, any movement that feels nurturing for you here, side to side or circle. Maybe the head goes side to side. Rolling onto one side, just pause there. Let your arm be a pillow for your head to rest. Gently pressing to sit. Finding a support to allow heaviness in the legs, lightness through the spine. Feeling the shoulders roll up, back, and down. Tone around the core. Softening the lower body as you lift the upper body. Bringing the hands to the heart, tuning into the light and love of universal love, unconditional love, compassion and empathy towards self and others. Take a moment to just feel where you are in space and time and what is present now. Virgo supports our presence in each moment. It supports mental energy. It supports refining the ways in which we tend to our body, our mind, and our connection to the earth, that source of Mother, in order to expand beyond conditioning. Come back to your intention and again look and feel and see if there's any refining or editing here. And keep your intention at the forefront of your mind so that you can meet the inner critic with love and the inner judge with compassion. And remind yourself to strive for progress, not perfection. Big breath together. Exhaling, bow to your heart, your inner light, and reflection. And from my heart to yours, I acknowledge your energy, your light, and respect and honor it. Namaste. Thank you, my friends. I hope you feel quieted down, peaceful within, and more available to refine your intentions. I will see you soon.